Yods are very powerful aspects that you can find in a chart, and we've been dealing with yod transits pretty much this entire year, since before I started posting videos on TikTok. And at some points, we've even had two yods at once. What a yod is it is three planets that are making a triangular shape with their aspects. But unlike a T square, which is also three planets making a triangular aspect, um, it is two inconjuncts and a sextile. T squares are when you have one planet that is squaring two other planets that are making an opposition to each other. Yods is one planet that is in conjunct two other planets that are sextiling each other, and so it's more of an isosceles shape. And what makes yods so interesting is between these three planets, they all have different elements and different modes. There is no shared commonality between any of their placements. I posted a video months ago, before I think me and you started talking on TikTok, that broke down the relationship of the element and mode between two planets with each aspect that they can make. That's what informs how those aspects translate, basically, is the relationship between element and mode. So with these three planets, we in a yod, there is no shared element or mode. So let's take, for example, let's say we have the sun in Aries, and now let's say we have Mars in Virgo, and we have um, Jupiter in Scorpio. So uh, this would make Mars and Jupiter sextile each other, and they would both be in conjunct the sun in Aries. So we have a cardinal fire sun, a mutable earth Mars, and a fixed water Jupiter. The yod we're dealing with right now is very close to the cusps of signs. So this yod is a little bit out of sign. So it's not following that exact pattern. We have the cardinal air, sun and moon in Libra, and it's in conjuncting Saturn, which is mutable water, and it's conjunct Aries, which is cardinal fire. And that conjunction is sextiling Uranus in Gemini, which is mutable air. So this yod's functioning a little bit differently. But generally, how yods work is there is such a struggle in communication between these planets. It's kind of like a destiny type of situation. Something is meant to happen. And so with Saturn conjunct Neptune sextiling Uranus, we have we have deception and lies that are holding us back, and rapid changes in messaging that are being used to facilitate that. And as each planet triggers this yod between that sextile, it has presented us with a notable moment where things could go one way or the other. At least that's how it's worked out this year. That's generally how I look at yods, though, is it comes down to a major decision, something where there is no right answer. There's a difficult choice that needs to be made. And now T squares and yods, they both are very interesting in that when you're looking at the conflict it represents, you generally will look at the opposition of the apex, and you can find your answers there. With the T square, you have one planet squaring two other planets that are opposing each other. So the two opposing planets are struggling for balance, and but they're both in conflict with the apex planet that they're both squaring. And so in order to find the balance, it's kind of like a it's kind of like a table that only has three legs instead of four. You want to find that fourth leg to bring overall balance to the situation. That's generally how we look at T squares. With a yod, it's very similar. You want to look to the opposite of the apex to get an idea of how things are supposed to play out. And right now, with the chart I was discussing yesterday, Sun and Moon is opposing Chiron in retrograde. So, in order to find the answer of the difficult decision we're trying to make, we should look within. We should look towards healing ourselves. What is right for me right now? And following in on that reading I did for the last full moon, where Mars was the trigger of the yod, and so it was a question of what action am I supposed to take right now? And with the opposition to Chiron, it was choosing myself over other people in this moment. I am extending myself too much for other people, and so I need to make a choice for myself. Now, with the sun and moon in that position, we are we are still looking towards healing ourselves, but it's also being honest with ourselves. And it is finding our balance, Libra, finding our balance in the grand scheme of things and what we will do next. And so it's just kind of continuing on that theme from the previous full moon. And let's see. I lost the plot for a second, so I had to pause and gather my thoughts. Um, so basically, when we're looking to that opposition in a yod, that is showing us an opportunity. And depending on the conditions of the two planets that are sextiling, the opposition to the apex can either be an opportunity that's presented to us or an opportunity that we need to make for ourselves. And so right now we are looking at opportunity that we need to make for ourselves. And how is this tying into the grand scheme of things? Well, right before this full moon happens, while the sun is still making this yod, the moon won't be quite there yet, but the sun will be there. Is this big protest that's happening this weekend, the second No King protest. So that is that has a major part to play with this yod when we are looking at this aspect on a global scale. You know, I have brought this up many times, but that Saturn conjunct Neptune has pretty consistently represented how the administration has been lying and deceiving to maintain the status quo at once. And that sextile Uranus just keeps on creating avenues for that facade to be broken down. And as the yod, as other planets have come through and have gone through Libra, it has given us moments where a major moment has happened that continues this narrative one way or the other. And many of them I can no longer talk about without this video getting flagged. But hopefully this answered your question, Ren. And if not, I will ramble for even more videos. Have a good one.